point moves rectilinearly in one direction. The figure shows the distance s traveled by the point as a function of time t. So this is the distance time graph of the particle which is moving in straight line. So we asked from this graph the average velocity of the point during the time of motion. The slope of distance time graph gives us the velocity. So as we can see, the slope initially it increases, therefore the velocity is increasing, and then the slope becomes constant. After that the slope is decreasing, and at this point the slope becomes zero. That means the particle has come to rest. At this point the time is 20 seconds and the distance traveled is 2 meters. So the average velocity during the time of motion will be equal to total distance upon total time, and that will be 2 upon 20, which will be equal to 0.1 meter per second. The second part of the question is the maximum velocity. The slope of distance time graph gives us the velocity. So we have to see where the slope is maximum. Starting from t is equal to 0, the slope gradually increases and then it becomes maximum. So this is the portion where the slope is maximum. If we want to find the slope of this portion, we have to find 2 points. The first point is this point. At this point the time is 10 seconds and the distance traveled is 0.4 meters. Similarly, we can look at this point. At this point the time is 14 seconds and the distance traveled by the particle is 1.4 meters. So the maximum velocity is slope of this line, and slope of this line will therefore be equal to 1.4 minus 0.4, which is the length of this line, upon 14 minus 10, which is the total time between these 2 points, and this will be equal to 1 by 4 will be equal to 0.25 meter per second. The final part of the question is the time moment t naught at which the instantaneous velocity is equal to the mean velocity average over the first time t naught second. If we know the distance time graph, instantaneous velocity at any moment is given by the slope at that point. So instantaneous velocity at this moment is slope at this point, instantaneous velocity at this moment is slope at this point, and so on. And we have to find the time t naught where instantaneous velocity is equal to the mean velocity average over the first t naught seconds. Now mean velocity is total displacement upon total time. If in case we know the displacement time graph of a particle, at time t1 the displacement is x1, at time t2 the displacement is x2. The average velocity is defined as x2 minus x1 upon t2 minus t1. Graphically, this x2 minus x1 upon t2 minus t1 will be the slope of the line joining the first point and the second point, because this length will be equal to x2 minus x1 and this much time will be equal to t2 minus t1. In this triangle, the slope of this line, that is tan theta, will be equal to x2 minus x1 upon t2 minus t1. So to find average velocity between 2 points, we simply join the 2 points by a line. The slope of the line will be the average velocity in that time interval. Here we have to find the mean velocity average over the first t naught seconds. That means we have to find the mean velocity from time 0 to t naught second. To do that, we have to join the point at origin with any point on the displacement time graph. So if in case I want to find the mean velocity starting from t is equal to 0 till this point, I simply join the point O with this point. The slope of this line will give me the average velocity till that time interval. Similarly, if in case I want to find the average velocity till this time, I join the point O with this point. The slope of this line will give me the average velocity till this instant. starting from t is equal to 0. This question we are asked the time interval t0 at which the instantaneous velocity is equal to the mean velocity average over the first t0 seconds. So what do is we draw a line from point O such that it is tangent to the curve. Such a line will be represented by this line. So this line is tangent to the curve at this point. Therefore, at this point, the instantaneous velocity which is tangent is also equal to the average velocity which is the slope of this line. At this point, the time will be 16 seconds. So therefore, the value of t0 will be 16 seconds because at 16 seconds, the instantaneous velocity, that is the slope of tangent at time t is equal to 16 seconds, is also the slope of the line joining point O and that point at t is equal to 16 seconds.